Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. I personally cannot wait to get into this interview because this woman, Grace, who you see right here, is absolutely so intriguing, so interesting, and has an amazing story to share. So with that, let's get right into it. Grace, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Let's take us back and share with us your personal story and journey.
Sure, yeah. So I'm 22 right now, and about 5 years ago, during my 17th birthday party, I began to experience like extreme pain in my neck and tingling in my arms, and I just knew something was like completely off. And so I told my mom, like, we need to go to the emergency room like right away, or we need to call 911 because like this is like the weirdest sensation. I've never felt anything like this before. And so we went down to the ER, and at that time, that was like when my friends were beginning to arrive at my party and stuff. And I just like assumed like, okay, I'm going to go to the ER and they're going to fix me, and then I'm going to come back home and I'm going to be fine. And so like in the ER and stuff, I was like asking my mom to take like Snapchat photos of me. And I was like, send these to my friends. Like, it's just seemed like so classic. Like, of course this was like happening to me, like during my birthday party. Yeah, so I should back up a little bit. So I was a senior in high school, and so it was the first day of winter break, and so yeah, I was just expecting to have my friends over, and it was gonna be a fun time. We had like a jumper slide in the backyard, and like it was just
so you were very much in the mindset that be right back.
Yeah.
They're gonna tell me nothing's wrong, or they'll give me some medicine and we'll be jumping on the slide in no time. And then
yes, exactly.
And then what progressed?
Yeah, so it's so we got in the car to go to the ER, and like probably within like 15 minutes, I lost the ability to walk. So it progressed like that quickly. And then, yeah, I was in the waiting room, and then my arms, I was losing sensation just very quickly. And so they got me in for a variety of tests. And that night I was actually intubated. So I was unable to breathe on my own. And that was on December 21st, so only a couple days before Christmas. And it was probably around Christmas Day where I like fully became like aware of my situation. And then like within a couple days, they diagnosed me with acute flaccid myelitis, which is a rare polio-like illness. And they didn't really know my prognosis because it was like such a new thing, and not many people had like been diagnosed with it. So yeah.
So you're 17.
Yes.
Fresh from your birthday party. Within a couple of days, your world as you know it completely changed. I cannot even imagine the emotion that you must have been experiencing just first of the unknown, the complete, you know, that your world changed in a moment, in 15 minutes practically.
Mm-hmm.
How were you emotionally, mentally at this point? I can't even come up with words to even accurately describe what you must have been like.
Yeah, I'm really thankful for my family. I have a really supportive family, and when I was in the hospital, like I was never told like you're not gonna walk again.
Mm.
I think just because like they didn't really know, and the nurses and doctors that I had at Cottage Hospital, the local hospital that is here, I just felt so supported and loved, and so I'm like really grateful for that. But I was in the ICU for 5 weeks, and then I was transferred to Craig Hospital in Colorado, which is like one of the leading hospitals for spinal cord injuries and brain injuries.
Do you want to hear something wild? I
What?
literally just interviewed another woman who lives in Vegas now. Her name is Jasmine, and she also had a spinal cord injury. Well, hers was an injury, but she also went to Craig, and she just describes them as nothing short of spectacular.
Yeah, they're amazing there.
So this happened fairly quickly that you were transferred there to start rehabilitation or
Mm-hmm.
finding your new normal,
Yeah,
understanding managing life. Is that where you learned how to utilize this quad what was it called? Quad stick? No, tell
quad.
me again.
Yeah, quad joy. Yeah,
Quad joy. Okay, yes, quad joy that you're using, which is absolutely spectacular. Maybe you can share with the audience what this piece of machinery does for you.
yeah, um, yeah. So arriving at Craig, like you hear the word like rehabilitation, and like that's like, okay, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna get better. Like they're gonna fix me. I'm gonna work really hard and I'm gonna get better. And but like within probably the first like 2 months, I I wasn't getting better. And so then there was like a transition to okay, like I'm not getting better. Let's I'm just gonna have to learn how to live life in a wheelchair. And that was like, I remember like the first time that like that really set in for me was when they were like, okay, let's pick colors for your new wheelchair.
Mm.
And everyone was like all like excited around it. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna have like this huge power chair. And there's just so much equipment around me. And um, so that was really hard, like accepting that this was gonna be like a somewhat permanent thing. And so, yeah. But the great thing about Craig is they have like an adaptive technology lab, which is like
Mm.
where they introduced me to this quad joy and all the computer equipment that I use. So this device right here, it's a sip and puff. And it's kind of the same way I drive my chair. So I'll sip and puff into it, and it's my clicker and how I'm able to pretty much do everything.
And
everything
so
else.
this must have opened up a whole new world for you, because I definitely want to make sure that I feel color in a little bit more of your story, that prior to the 17th birthday party, you were going to Santa Barbara, University of Santa Barbara. Is that where you were going to go to at that time?
I actually, so I was accepted to Berklee College
Oh,
in
Berkeley, correct. For
music, and I was actually going to be a guitar performance major. So I played piano, guitar, and cello, and I kind of wanted to be like a studio musician or something like that. So
So then, so let's put that into the mix of what your new normal needed to be, now that the instruments that you love, that you were trained on, that you were going to college for, were no longer an option, in terms
yeah,
of physically playing them. Uh,
yeah.
how was that notion in terms of at the time when you had to come to that reality?
Yeah, so I I started playing piano when I was 5 years old, and then I cello I think when I was like 12, and then guitar in high school, and like music was always like such a huge part of my life, and like I always kind of knew that was what I wanted to pursue in my future. And I did a Berklee summer camp the summer before my senior year in high school, and kind of arriving there, it was, I just fell in love with it. I was able to like live in the dorms and kind of experience that college life, and it was like so inspiring being around like other musicians and other people with like the same goals, because it was such just like an inspiring community to be around.
Mm.
And so I'm definitely like thankful that I got to have that like independent college experience, even just for like a brief amount of time.
Mm.
So that was 5 weeks the summer before. So the summer of 2014. And so, yeah, like when I got back from the hospital, that was when like all of my friends had graduated college or high school, and so I was home, and like all of my friends were off at school, and it was hard because I kind of felt like I definitely felt alone. Like I was home and everyone was off like pursuing their careers, and that's like a time where like you're supposed to be um like
Independent, going to
independent.
the next
Yeah.
chapter of your life. But one of the most wonderful parts of your story, and certainly that very much caught my eye when you emailed us, is how you have found a new path for your journey, and that very I can't even imagine time of the loneliness and the what is my journey going to look like. You found your way, and
Yeah.
I would love you to tell us about what that way is and what you're working on now and where you're going to school, because you are an extraordinary example of that people with disabilities can do anything.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So uh coming back from Craig, social media is kind of like could be a double-edged sword,
Mhm.
because like on one hand it's like really cool to like be able to connect with your friends and stuff, but also like you see everything else that like everyone else is doing, and it can kind of like put you in a place of like not feeling great about the path that you're on. And so
And
I
it's
was
right
just
in your
wanting,
face. That's the
yeah,
challenging part. That it's a little hard to escape, but
yeah.
you did.
And I think that's one kind of good thing about not being able to use my arms, because I can't like be constantly checking it all the time. So,
Good.
but yeah, I kind of wanted to create something for myself. And one of the things that I loved about Craig was they introduced me to mouth painting and all this computer technology, and there's just so much that I can do, despite having this disability. And so music and art therapy was just so important to me at Craig, and I wanted to bring that to my community here. And so I started a foundation that brings music and art to kids with special needs, and so I did that.
And what's the name of the organization?
It's called the Grace Fisher Foundation. And Make-A-Wish Foundation helped me out with that. So that was like my wish for from Make-A-Wish, and so they helped me develop that. It got me
Your
started.
wish with Make-A-Wish was to create a foundation.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I love that piece so much. So again, it's called the Grace Fisher, and it's FISHER Foundation.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think that not only did you learn how to mouth paint, but to the extent of selling your artwork for some serious money, right? What is your style of painting? Modern, classic? What would you say?
I feel like it's like constantly evolving, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to use lots of paint. Like moving the paint around is just so like therapeutic for me. So I really like Van Gogh. He's like uses expressionist techniques, and like just the ideas are very vivid, and so I like capturing like nature in my garden and things like that, in that style. So,
and one of your pieces sold for $6,000, I believe. That is
yeah.
that is, you are a real artist. You've sold your work. I would say that is exceptional. And not only are you thriving in your art, but also in music, as you are now a composer. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to school for music composition at the University of California, Santa Barbara. So UCSB. And it's really cool. The program that I'm in is called the College of Creative Studies, and so it has music composition, literature, mathematics, and biology. I think they're just like looking for like creative thinkers in general. And it's a really small program, and the like average class size is like 12 students.
Amazing.
It's really cool to like get like that one-on-one attention. But yeah, so even though I can't like physically play my instruments anymore, I can compose and write music, and I think in some ways like it's a lot more fun and gratifying because like I'm able to like control like this big ensemble. And I think that's one of the things like when you have a disability, because I can't control so many things, I feel like there's a lot of other things that I can control, like my garden that I have in the backyard. There's so much in there that like I can control. And also like controlling like the different parts of an orchestra, like it's very empowering. But yeah.
I feel the exact same way. Actually, I that was a big piece of my TED Talk. At the end of the talk, I speak specifically about not focusing on what you can't control, but focusing on what you can. And I think that is exactly what you are doing. And I think you are remarkable. You are so incredibly talented. I cannot wait to see the music that you compose, the pictures that you paint, the gardens that you grow, because you are really just a beautiful soul. And that, of course, and actually, wait, before I bring us to the last question, where's the best place for people to connect with you? Should they have more questions or want to learn about what you're doing, want to see your artwork, want to hear your music? Where's the best place they could find you?
So, on Instagram, probably. And
Okay.
I have a website too for my foundation, and a personal website too that I'm not like very active on, but yeah, so Gracie Fish _ is my
Grace,
account.
is it CIE?
Yes.
GRACIE_fish.
Gracie Fish _
Oh, Gracie Fish _ for Instagram.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Now, before we go, I'd like to ask all of my guests one final question. And that's because I am a huge believer in the notion of a vision board and putting on your board hopes and dreams and wishes and people that you want to meet, things you want to accomplish in your life. If I got to peek onto Grace's vision board, what would I see?
Can this be one thing or multiple?
It can be as many as you want.
Oh gosh.
Or as little as you want, or whatever first comes to the top of your head.
Well, for my foundation, I really want a facility, and I think it would be really cool to have like an urban garden connected to it, and to employ people with disabilities, and have art and dance programs and all of that. So that's one thing.
I love it. Good.
Right now, I actually didn't mention this, but they made a documentary about my story, and it's called Amazing Grace. And so I think to get that like onto Netflix or something would be really cool.
Let's put that on there then for sure. And we will also include that link to in the copy, so everybody can enjoy that. But I love it. Let's get Netflix on there.
So I have a each year during wintertime, during the time of of my diagnosis, I put on a winter music showcase, and that's where I've had like some of my orchestra pieces played. And this next year, I mean, it's going to be a lot different because like I don't know if we're going to be able to have like a live show with the full audience, but my project that I'm writing is I'm writing another piece for full orchestra, and then I'm going to be painting and animating to it. So I think to get that made, and then...
Oh, let's get that on America's Got Talent. It sounds like it would be perfect for that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, let's put that on the board. I love it. Grace, thank you so much for joining us today. It was so incredible to hear your story. I highly encourage everybody to go watch her movie. Please follow her on Instagram. I cannot wait to see what you create in your lifetime because I know it's going to be spectacular.
Thank you so much.
If you would like to be on the Gamut Network, please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com and tell us why you'd be a great guest. Please also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Gamut Network, as well as follow us on our social platforms of Gamut Management. Thank you again, Grace. Bye.
Thank you so much.